Alright, what's up? Alright, so I'm wearing the same shirt as the crystal opening video because I'm recording this literally seconds after I stopped recording that crystal opening. But I thought that today we would do something a little bit different, and this was actually recommended to me by Legacy. I'm going to actually record myself assigning BG3's warpaths. So, as you guys can see, we're up against Ny. I don't think that they were in our range, so I don't know if the matchmaking calculator is off, but okay, so the first thing that I do, and I'm just going to go through the entire process here. The first thing I do is I take screenshots of all the battle groups with the nodes up. Now, here's the reason I do this. It's probably not something that will apply to your alliance, but I do this because in order to do power ratings, we need to have defender information for every battle group. So we ask our members to log their defenders, or log their fights, log the defenders that they face. Obviously, log how many deaths they had if they die. And the reason that I take screenshots is sometimes people forget to log their defense, and then they forget what node they had their defenders on, or what node they faced specific defenders on. And that matters because every node has its own numerical value for power ratings. Alright, so I'm just taking screenshots here. The other battle groups, once they'll all record their defense logs, and then the officers from those battle groups will PM the logs to me, and then I will enter them into the power rating spreadsheet. So I usually don't have to do this. The reason that I do this is just kind of insurance, just to make sure that if somebody forgets, and those officers are like, yeah, I can't remember who was on this node, I can come over here and I can say, well, it was this person, so who fought this guy? It also allows me to chase after people who are notoriously slow with logging their fights, and there are a few repeat offenders in 4 Loki. So with this, I can go in, I can look to see what fights are missing, and then I can publicly shame them in the 4 Loki war chat. Alright, so you guys are not going to see this, but I'm going to pull up my email. And what I do with this is I write out the paths and then I email them to myself. Alright, so paths we are up against. This is Season 19, War 10, right? 10, 11, 12, yeah. War 10. We are up against Ny718, and then I put the date. This is the email that I'm sending myself is the assignments, but at the top it'll have season number, war number, opponent, and then the date. And then I'll post this in BG3 news chat so that all the BG3 members can see what their assignments are. I tag everybody. Alright, so the first thing that I do all the time, every time, is I start at Boss Island. And I want to make sure that we have proper matchups, and if synergies are required, that we have proper synergies. And I like to try to give us at least 2 great options. Alright, so when I see a thing boss, we will be using Omega Red. And that means that we will need 2 Omega Red teams with the Sabertooth or Deadpool X-Force synergy. It's the exact same synergy. We have 2 rank 3 6-star Omega Reds, Brett and Lizer. So I know right away that both of them are going to be bringing Omega Red and either Sabertooth or Deadpool. This is going to be a pretty easily quakeable fight. He is a good defender. I don't think that he's a good defender here. I think that you need to protect him from Quake. So like Brute Force up here, that would be a good place for Sasquatch. Bryn is most likely going to take this fight. So Bryn will actually take these 3 fights. He's our best Quaker. This is Rage. And then he's got this Magic that he won't have to deal with. Yeah, not a problem. And then he's got this Dr. Doom. Aspect of Evolution's never going to gain any power. Alright, so Bryn's going to get those 3 fights. Lizer or Brett is going to get the boss. This Vision Arcus, I think I'm probably just going to have Dap take it with his rank 3 Red Hulk. And then these 2 fights, Stunning Reflection, Polka Dot Power. Warlock is not a stubborn defender, so we could ghost these 2 fights. We could send Pete with his rank 3 Ghost, or Dreamin with his rank 3 Corvus. We just need to make sure that for this fight we get him True Strike. So now I know that Bryn will be bringing Quake. Pete always brings Ghost. That's his permanent war team. We just try to find spots for him. And then Dap will be bringing Red Hulk. And Dap can also take this Sasquatch with Quake. So he'll probably be bringing Red Hulk and Quake. Alright, let's go check out the rest of the map. Alright, this will be an Omega Red fight here. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, it's really good. So we did this too. They paired Nova on Intercept, which isn't a difficult Doom fight, with Ebony Maw, who is not a good matchup for Corvus, obviously, and also isn't really a good matchup for Doom, in my opinion. Doom can do it, but this is Rage Emma. If you guys saw my last war video, I took this node with Dr. Doom in the Mr. Fantastic synergy. You get armor breaks on your heavies, so you can just shatter her diamond form. And then up here, Aggression Prowess. This is good placement with MD. That could be a troublesome matchup for a lot of people, but Quake should be able to handle that, I would imagine. And then this is pretty typical placement over here. This is very good placement for Hyperion, Strike Counter Fury, and Power Struggle. So with Power Struggle, you're not going to really get power unless he gets power. But with Dr. Doom, I've taken that fight before. It's fairly easy. Alright, and then up the gut, this is Ebb and Flow Knockdown. This is going to be Medusa and then Omega Red here. So Brett has obviously rank 3 Omega Red, which he'll be bringing anyway. And he's also got a rank 5 Medusa. So I'm probably going to send Brett up the middle. So Path 5 in Section 1 is going to be Brett, Omega, Saber, Medusa. And then what I'll do is I will find a spot for Brett in Section 2, so that's the next step. Yeah, anytime you face a top 10 alliance or an alliance that's been towards the top of the game for a while, they usually are pretty smart with their placements. And these guys are definitely smart with their placements. Sometimes I come in and it's just a breeze. I'm done in 20 minutes. Sometimes it takes me an hour. This will not be an hour-long video, I assure you that, but I am just thinking right now. All right, so we're going to come back to Brett. And this happens sometimes. There's not an obvious path for me to send him on in Section 2, so I'm just going to skip it altogether, and I will come back. Now, there is an obvious path for me to send Enzo on, and that would be Path 4 to this Void. I believe that Archangel is the best matchup here, so we're going to go Enzo. He's going to bring Archangel, and then Vision, and then let's do Fury to give him a second option for this read in case things go south with Archangel. And he will also give 10% additional attack to both Archangel and Vision. I also do tell our people which champs to use for which fights. With the exception of like Pete, because he's only bringing one attacker pretty much, and Dreamin' sometimes, because usually he'll be taking most of his fights, if not all, with Corvus. Oh, this is going to be good for Dreamin'. That Avenger, I don't think that placing Namor is a good idea. Let me make sure that I'm not missing anything. He's not stubborn either. It's Kinetic Transference, Power Bond. I mean, this is just an easy, free Corvus mission. Let me make sure that there's not a spot on this map where Dreamin' could pick up more than one charge, and there is not. Alright, so he'll be on Path 7. What we want to do is find spots in Section 2 where he can get additional missions, and specifically a True Strike mission. So he'll already have the Avengers mission, so he doesn't need this Black Widow to get that extra mission. And I don't want to send him up on Path 5 because I don't want him to take Ebony Maw with Dr. Doom. He could get True Strike here against this MODOK, but he won't be able to stun him. And this Spider-Gwen would be, I think, a nightmare matchup. That's really good placement. And you're not going to be able to pick up True Strike with Corvus against her. So that's really good. That's very smart. And they're protecting that MODOK from Corvus's, or they're hoping that people are going to see that MODOK and send a Corvus thinking that they can pick up True Strike against Spider-Gwen. And without being able to stun her, you're probably not going to make it through that fight. So that's really clever placement. He also has Man-Thing and King Groot. But I think that King Groot and Man-Thing are both in Alliance Quest. Dr. Doom is going to be great for this Claire. Dr. Doom is not going to be good for Terrax because of his abilities against Metal Champs, or, I don't know how to say that, but the Armor Thorns, he's not going to be good there. We learned that the hard way. Even though he can nullify with his SP1, he'll take pretty heavy bleed damage. Bad matchup. And then Path 2 is not a good matchup for Corvus because of Strike Counter. Dreamin' would never get to a Special 2, so we're not going to send him there. Obviously, you can't take Path 6 because of Rage, and then that long shot, so that's not an option. Okay, so I think that the best strategy would be to send him on Path 7. So he would be 7 all the way. That would allow him to... Alright, I think I figured it out. He can bring Omega. Alright, we're going to send him on Path 9. This is not an ideal team for him because he'll have to use Omega Red without the Sabertooth synergy. He will probably complain. He'll probably say, I'm going to die to Spider-Gwen. He does this a lot. He's like, oh, I'm definitely going to die to this fight, and then he doesn't. So it is a fight that he can get through. So we're going to send him on 7-9. The key here is that we're trying to get him True Strike so that he can take this fight up here. Corvus is not the only option here. We can definitely send a Venom. The thing is, there's not really any other spot to get him missions. Like, we could send him to Path 3 to get him that tech mission, but he would have to bring a Bleed Immune for this fight. He doesn't have, I don't think that he has Claire ranked. Maybe he does, but he doesn't like her. We should probably send a Venom over here. Alright, that's what we're going to do. Scratch that. Alright, so we need to figure out who we're going to do for that Silver Surfer. I think we're going to send him on Path 3. So we're going to scrap Omega. We don't need Proxima at this point. So yeah, let's actually do Omega, Corvus, Omega, and Saber. So that's going to be his team. Now he'll have the Sabertooth synergy. He doesn't need to worry about True Strike because he's not going to get it. Done. Okay, so now let's do Brent. Sabertooth is not a stubborn defender. Not really a good matchup for this guy, but he's also not stubborn. Quake is not a good matchup, I should say, but he can definitely take this with Corvus. That's not a problem. And then he, of course, can take Invisible Woman with Quake. He is going to be on Path 1-5, and he will be bringing Quake, Corvus, and his rank 5 Dr. Doom, because his rank 3 is on defense. But he'll have no problem with that Nova fight. Dreamin' can do it. Dreamin' hasn't died there yet, so that ought to give you all the info you need there, if you guys have watched Dreamin's Doom gameplay. And then he'll also be taking that Black Widow, so he'll be able to pick up one mission. It's nothing crazy, but he doesn't really need a bunch of missions. This Hit Monkey, Ebb and Flow Intercept, Crumbling Armor, he can just take that with Corvus too. Okay, which means that over here on the right side, we want to send Dap, and we're going to send him on Path 8 in Section 2. We're going to have him take this Thing with Quake, and then he can also bring his Red Hulk and his Dr. Doom. So we need to find a spot for him in Section 1. And this is going to be a good spot. He's probably not going to like it too much because it is only one fight, but that is how it goes. So he's going to be on 8 all the way, and then he will also take this Tigra with Rolk. which leaves, I think that I'm the only rank 5 Venom left, which means that I'm unfortunately going to be taking Path 9 in Section 2. We haven't given Legacy a path yet either. This is just kind of the process of just finding the trouble fights, making sure that we have the proper team for them. This is probably where I want Lizer. She'll just have to play around the Incinerate phase, but this is definitely the best spot for her. She's got a rank 3, Omega Red. She's going to be fine here. Omega, DPX, she has a 6-star Deadpool X-Force, so she likes to bring him, as opposed to Sabertooth. Doesn't matter, same synergy. Alright, so Legacy is going to go over here. Legacy is very, very skilled with Void. Let's see here, what is this? Vigor. Indomitable. That's a pretty decent Quake fight there. And I know that Legacy's been excited about his Quake. I don't know if we should test it this war. Buffet, Lionheart. This is a tough fight. This is pretty good placement. Quake obviously is a very good option here, but our 2 best Quakers are going elsewhere. Could send Lizer there. Lizer is very good with Quake. Let's do that. We're going to switch Lizer's path. Alright, she's going 9-1, and she's going to be bringing Omega, DPX, and Quake instead. Taking Claire on 24 with Quake. We still need somebody to deal with this Emma Frost. And Torch would just tear this up, and Legacy is very good with Torch. All right, if we sent him with Dr. Doom, Mr. Fantastic, and Torch, oh man, that would be a naughty team. We're going to do that. Legacy is getting the Dr. Doom treatment. He is going to go path 3 to 6. Let's see, Strike Back. Power Focus 1, Power Alternator. Pete should have no problem with that fight. So here's what we're going to do. Brett, who is on Path 5 in Section 1 and has Sig 200, Rank 3 Omega Red, he's going to be on backup in Section 2. He will get first dibs on the boss, and he kind of gets a break in Section 2 so that he can save items that he can use on boss. Path 6 is going to be Pete with full Ghost team as usual. So full Ghost, that's all I put for Pete. In Section 2, he is going to go to, he could do a Nihilus. With Pete, because he's so good with Ghost, a lot of times I'll put him in situations that I would never put a typical Ghost player in, but I don't think that that's really the best idea. Alright, let's do this. We're going to send Pete with his Sim Supreme. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Oh fuck, okay, we can send TJ there. Alright, so Pete is actually going to go 6-2. Pete has a big, juicy rank 3 Symbiote Supreme that he can use on that Anus. So we're actually going to do Ghost Wasp, because he'll need Wasp, of course, and then Sim Supreme. On path 2, that'll be me. So we'll do 2-9, and I'll be taking Doom and Venom. And who do I want for that MODOK? You know what I could do? This is one of, alright, so when you guys watch my videos and I die, I would say 80% of the time I die because I take fights because I get a good idea in my head. You guys look at this Path 9 and you see Spider-Gwen and MODOK. The very best counter in the game for Spider-Gwen, any spider person, is Venom. And then for MODOK, what I'm thinking in my head is Captain America with the Fury synergy. I could just parry him. Now here's the thing. It's not going to work, and I'm not going to do this anyway, but because of his leadership SIG ability, with any skill champion on his team, he will, at 100% chance, shrug off the next debuff. So theoretically, you could parry on this node, Stunning Reflection, and you would just immediately shrug off that debuff. Now, why it won't work is my rank 5 Captain America is actually on defense. Because he's a stubborn defender, we've got him placed on a node that is Corvus-proof. And then my rank 3 6-star is only Sig 130. We're kind of back at what should I do here? Among my options, Corvus obviously would be good, but I would have to remove Doom from my team, which is probably not a great idea. You know what I can do? Actually, I can be backup in Section 1. A really good defense is going to make you second guess yourself, and that's what most of the very tip-top alliances do, which is great. That's what we try to do. We try to make people second guess themselves. I could rank up Killmonger. I've been wanting to rank up Killmonger anyway. The hesitation is it's going to take up a lot of gold and 3 tier 5 basic catalysts. It would be pretty sweet though. Killmonger would be sweet here. Let's go see if we can actually rank up Killmonger. because this might just give me an excuse to rank him up. YOLO, man. All right, boom. All right, so we ranked up Killmonger. That's awesome. So I'll just take this. We're going to go back to war. He's already ranked up. It's already been done, so I'll just have to level him up. We do have a level up on, too, which is pretty sweet. I will take that with Killmonger. All right, Doom, Venom, Killmonger for me. And that leaves TJ, and he will be going on, which one has not been taken yet in section 2? Legacy has that path. Treeman has that path. Oh, 7. 7. All right, so Spite, he could use Red Guardian here, and then Vision. Let's double check to make sure he's got Vision. Oh, you know what? We need to send TJ over here because he needs to bring Void. I forgot about that. So TJ needs to bring, he'll be back up. Let's actually send him on path 3. Dreamin can move to a different path. Let's do backup 3, Void, Vision, or let's do Void, Hawkeye, and Claire. He will need Claire for that Silver Surfer. And then we need to change Dreamin's path. He will be sliding over to path 7. So 7 all the way. That'll be Corvus, Omega, and Saber. You know what? If he brings Medusa, he can also take this Warlock. Who am I kidding? He's going to use Corvus. What am I even talking about? So he can go Corvus, Nebula for that extra attack, and should we do Medusa? Just so he can take that Warlock if he wants to. That looks pretty good to me. Have we been going for an hour? 50 minutes. Fuck me. Okay. Let's run through a recap of all the paths that are assigned right now and who will be taking which fights. So on path 1, in section 1, we have Bryn. He'll be bringing Quake, Corvus, and his 5-star Dr. Doom because his 6-star is on defense. He can Quake this fight. He can use Corvus here. It does have Arc Overload and Masochism. Doesn't really matter for Corvus. And then he can Quake Invisible Woman. She is stubborn, so he'll have to play parry style here. Not a big deal. And then on path 2, that will be me. I will be using Dr. Doom for this fight. I can just stagger him the whole fight. I've done it before and it should be fine. Path 3 is going to be Legacy. He's going to be taking this fight with Dr. Doom. Path 4 is going to be Enzo. He'll be taking this fight with Archangel with no suicides, of course. Path 5 will be Brett. He'll be taking this fight here with Medusa. You just want to get to an L1 and then medium L1, and then he'll be taking this fight with Omega Red, his Sig 200 rank 3 Omega Red. And he'll also be bringing the Sabertooth synergy. He'll also take this fight here. Perfect Omega fight. Power alternator, doesn't matter at all. Path 6 here, we've got Pete. He'll be taking this one with Ghost. Path 7, we've got Dreamin. He'll get 2 Corvus missions for his rank 3 Corvus on this node from Avengers and Mutant. And then he can just use Corvus on this one too. It's not really a big deal. And then we have Dap. He'll be taking this fight with his rank 3 Red Hulk. And then Lizer with her rank 3 Omega Red will be taking these 2 fights. These are fairly tricky fights for Omega Red, but she'll have no issue with it. Now, Dap, he'll be taking this Mordo with his rank 3 Dr. Doom. And then Pete will be taking this Domino on Power Snack. And then we'll have Omega Red take this fight. Haven't decided who. Over here, we've got Dap. He'll be quaking this fight. And then he'll be moving on to Venom with Dr. Doom. And then he'll also be taking Tigra with Red Hulk. I will be on path 9. I will be using Venom here. And then my rank 2 6-star Killmonger here because my rank 5 is on defense. Okay, and then over here we've got Dreamin. He'll be using Corvus here. It is Spite, but doesn't really matter with Corvus. He'll also have 2 Corvus missions at that point, and his is rank 3, so he'll just cut through that fight. And then he can also use his Corvus here. All right, and then over here in the middle, we'll have Bryn with his rank 3 Corvus, taking Black Widow Deadly Origin, and then he'll be moving up to path 5. He'll be taking Maul with Quake, and he'll be taking Nova with his 5-star Dr. Doom because his rank 3 6-star Dr. Doom is on defense. And then Legacy is going to be taking path 6 here. He'll be using Dr. Doom with the Mr. Fantastic synergy, which gives him armor breaks on his heavies for this node. And then he'll be using Human Torch for this node. I need to tell people to not join. Hold on. And the reason we do this is because obviously we don't want somebody taking in a champ that they're going to be assigned for war. That'll throw everything off. Usually it does not take me an hour, but such it is. Enzo's going to be taking Mr. Fantastic with Archangel, and he'll be taking Havoc with Vision. For this fight, Bryn's going to be taking it with Corvus, this Hit Monkey. Okay, and then over here, we're going to have Lizer with her Quake, taking Clairvoyant. And then she's also going to be taking this Terrax with Quake, and she's also going to be taking this Mojo with Quake. Now this fight right here is going to be tough. But at the very worst, she can remove Dexterity and use Omega Red, and he'll just hopefully kill himself. So I am a little bit concerned about this fight. But Void is not good here because of Lionheart. And Bryn, whom I would normally give this fight to with Quake, I'm sending him elsewhere because... we're trying to utilize his Corvus. All right, and then TJ will be on path 3. He'll be bringing Clairvoyant here. Obviously, she is bleed immune in her first bleed curse, so as long as he just stays in bleed curse the whole fight, he'll be fine. And then he can use Clairvoyant is probably who I would recommend he'll use. Over here, we'll have Pete, and Pete can use his rank 3 Symbiote Supreme on that Anus, and then he can use Ghost here. All right, and then on Mini Island, Brent is going to be taking all 3 of these fights on the left with Quake, Guillotine, Magic, Dr. Doom. Dap is going to be taking these 2 fights, Sasquatch with Quake, and then Arcus with Red Hulk. Dreamin will be taking this Warlock with Medusa. I will be taking this Night Monkey with Venom. And then the plan is for Brett, because he's back up in Section 2, to take Thing Boss with Omega Red. Last time we had a Thing Boss, he almost soloed the fight, and he said that he screwed up, and so I want to give him a chance at redemption. He deserves that, so he will get first crack at that boss. So that is it. Absolutely crazy. 1 hour to do war assignments, but now you've seen it. All right, so one more thing here. I wanted to show you guys what the paths actually look like, what the assignments actually look like to everybody in BG3 when I post them. It's kind of crazy because there's a lot of detail. I tell everybody who to use. I tell them if a defender is stubborn or not. Yeah, we just want to make sure that we eliminate mistakes. I also post all these instructions and tell them who to fight so that if somebody catches something that maybe I overlooked, they can say, hey, wait a minute, you have Bryn taking this fight, and I don't think that it's going to work because of this. So I'm not going to read through all of them, but you guys can see exactly how detailed these paths are. 1-5, meaning Section 1, he's Path 1, Section 2, he's Path 5. Tell him exactly who to use. I tag him, obviously. And I tell him who to use for every single fight. It's not because Bryn is a bad player. Bryn is probably the best player in 4 Loki. If I told him nothing, he would be fine, I'm sure. Again, we do this just because, especially with a new map, with new interactions, we want to make sure that we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's, so to speak. What our guys are supposed to do, and what Bryn does, and what most of our players do, is they'll look at this, they'll read the instructions, and then they'll go scout their path before they join with those instructions in mind. And if I miss something, they'll tell me. And obviously, if I do miss something, then sometimes we have to switch around paths, or sometimes they'll say, hey, I know that this is a good matchup, but I'd actually feel more comfortable using this attacker for this fight. Here's why. That's totally fine. So this is just to prevent silly mental mistakes, like sending somebody down a path if in my head I think, oh, I'm sending him with this attack team, he's obviously going to use this champion. And then they use a different champion and they die, and it's like, why did you use that guy? And they're like, well, I thought because of this ability or this interaction. So look, more clarity, the better. And to a lot of people, it is going to seem like it's micromanagement, and I really hate that word. Technically, it is micromanagement, but again, this is just to help everybody. I'm not peering over their shoulders, making sure that they do all these other things. We just want to make sure that these are the matchups that I have in mind for you. This is what I'm thinking. If you disagree, that's totally fine. Just tell me why. Let's hash it out. All we care about is making sure that we have the best available matchup. All right. Now it's sometimes tough, but this is supposed to be the collection of the best overall collective matchups. And then, of course, we have to break up the message because I don't want that ugly see all option at the bottom. So we break it up and then letting everybody know that they really need to join war before they join Alliance Quest. Alliance Quest is very easy to make adjustments for. That is it. Thank you guys for watching the video. And yeah, hopefully we're able to come away with a victory. Hey, I'm back with a new face. Took the beard off. Alright, so I wanted to give you guys the results of all of this planning. Show you how BG3 did. You can see here that we were able to get the win. Alright, I'm not sure if you guys have actually ever looked at this overview stuff, but it separates, it says overall, and then you can separate it by battle group. And where it says attack bonus, the maximum attack bonuses available if you were to not die at all in your battle group would be 165, which means that we lost one attack bonus. We died once. Our one death came from the boss node. Brett had the fight. It looked like in the video he had the fight for the most part under control, and then he got a Snapchat notification mid-fight from his brother. When that notification popped up, instantaneously he took a full combo and died from that. So let that be a lesson to everybody to figure out your Do Not Disturb settings and make sure that Do Not Disturb is on during war fights all the time. But anyway, that was our only death in the battle group. Very proud of BG3. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you this. This is from War 6 over to BG3. One death. Not bad. And let's go back to the New Mutant. And let's do the same thing. Let's go over to BG3. 2 deaths. So in the last 3 wars, BG3 has combined for 4 deaths. In the last 2 wars, we've had 1 death apiece. In the comment section, let me know if there was anything that you guys picked up from this video, or if you guys, have different strategies for assigning warpaths. Let me know, what you guys are doing. I'm always curious to know how everybody approaches the game. So that's it. I'll have the war vid posted soon, hopefully. Appreciate you guys watching.